Greetings, life forms, and I don't know where you're receiving us, but wherever it is, welcome back to another episode of Nerd News Cafe. This is Justin
and Matt,
and I'm the king of nonsense, Landon Doan.
Oh, is that going to stay
strong?
You know what? It was a nickname given to me by a friend that I thought really described me, so I'm going to own it and run with it.
Okay.
So,
all right.
King of nonsense, Landon Doan.
Some things just stick; they just feel right.
It's true.
Yeah, it's one of those things when it hits the ear, it's like, oh, I could live with that.
Like toilet paper to the butthole. It's just stuck.
You could have worse nicknames. I will admit that.
Absolutely.
So. Oh yes, I can. As somebody who has, I'm very well aware.
Speaking of that, I just the other day realized that on Facebook you can add a nickname.
Oh yeah,
and you can choose whether to put it at the top of your profile or just
I didn't know that.
as a piece of the profile. So I have added a nickname, and I will offer up points. Since At Midnight's canceled, I can offer up points for anybody who goes and finds it and tells me what it is, because it is no nickname anyone's ever called me, but I just, for whatever reason, it took me in the moment, and that's my nickname.
Cheese grater.
It might be food related. I'll tell you that.
Nice. Were you hungry at the time?
Exactly.
I was. It was before lunch at work. So I might have been thinking about, this sounds pretty good.
The Bean Daddy.
The Bean Daddy. Oh, man. All right. So it is August the 13th, and this is episode 58 of Nerd News Cafe. And I am so excited to tell you guys that we're going to try something a little bit differently today with the format. I want you to give it a shot, listen to it. Don't turn it off now. I don't want to scare you off. Stick with it. I want you to tell me if you like this change. It's not really a format change. It's just a reshuffling.
Restructuring. That's what happened when people get fired.
Corporate term. That's right. Landon will be turning in his notice today.
Again?
It may have been forced. No. But yeah, just I'd really like to hear your thoughts after we get through this episode, because I think this is going to work really well, but who knows? Best laid plans, right? So indeed. Before we get to that, we do have drinks on the table. I want to go around, do a little round table, and I've got a surprise drink again. It's not as exciting as balls.
It's balls.
I was going to say, after last week, you really teased those balls. Wait.
Oh, no. Those jokes are almost done, except Landon had one more loaded.
Yep, he had one left. Let's start with Landon today. I usually start with Matt just because I'm looking at him across the table. Let's start with Landon. What have you got, man?
You mentioned the disappointing news that I'm going to be forced to turn in my resignation today. Continuing the disappointing news, I just have Diet Coke.
Oh, is it diet caffeine free or just diet?
Just diet.
Okay, good. So, I mean, if you choose to get cancer from what you're drinking, at least have some caffeine with, have a benefit of something.
Right. I mean, everything is going to kill. Everything nowadays is killing us, so you might as well just get the full experience.
It's really true.
Just enjoy what you like.
You might as well. Go down with a smile on your face.
No,
a Coke and a smile.
Yeah. Again, had to be a better way to phrase it.
True.
If I'm going down with a smile, I might switch to margarita later.
Okay.
You know, it's still too early to drink, in my opinion, so give me like 30 minutes.
I mean, or if you're taking the mentality of you might as well do what you want because we're all going down anyway, why not meth?
Yeah.
Hey, I like that thought process, especially the past week we as Americans and the world have had. I mean, who knows by the time you're hearing this if the nukes have let fly. So if they haven't, enjoy and be sure to tell your friends to download us on iTunes.
Before it's too late.
I think you should
it's too late.
You should make like a hunch punch of drugs and just one little thing and just mix it together.
It's a hunch punch of drugs.
Hunch punch.
Hashtag hunch punch of drugs.
People call them cocktails. You could have a little drug cocktail.
I like hunch punch better.
Hunch punch pretty good.
I was reminiscing with my wife about a story that's less than valued to tell anyone, and that word was in there. I was like, I think they called it hunch punch, and I had forgotten that was a real thing. And then it makes me happy to know that that's a real thing in this world.
Well, there you go. You didn't make it up. You thought you made it up.
No. I wouldn't take credit for that. I'm pretty creative, but not in that way.
That's like the story where I thought I created the tankless water heater. I really thought I invented that.
Did you really?
Truthfully, I thought I invented the tankless water heater.
I've installed one of those.
Yeah.
They're not fun.
I had the funny thing. So I usually, just to tell you how things work in this house, my wife does all the cooking because I'm terrible in the kitchen. And when I try, she usually chases me out.
Same.
But what that means is I pick up all the dishes because I feel like I should do something on a daily basis.
I like
That's a
doing
fair
dishes.
trade-off.
So I don't mind doing dishes.
It's minimal
podcast
work.
time.
And yeah, it's exactly. It's like, goodbye, world.
Yeah. Anyway, I was washing a hot pan, running cold water off of it, and I was like, hey, the water comes off really hot. Or just the cold water, as soon as it touches the pan, it's hot. And I'm like, wait a minute. We could invent something that could instantly heat water. World. And I didn't know. I didn't do the research because I'm an idiot. And I told my dad about it, and he was like, yeah, that exists.
Oh, I didn't know you went and pitched it to somebody.
I did. I
this
pitched
is
it.
great.
Pitched it to my dad.
Amazing idea.
My $1 million
It was
idea.
like his one turnaround moment. He's like, my son knows way too much than I do right now. I mean, I can barely turn TV on, and then you come with that, and he's like, I'm still dad. I'm still dad.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
think that you made an old man smile.
I did.
You made your dad proud. Not of you, of himself.
So you didn't come up with the $1 million idea, but you made somebody smile. So that's worth
Something.
not $1 million, but it's still worth something.
I will say, I give myself a little credit because I did not know this exists, and obviously it was a good idea because they do.
Yeah.
Right?
There you go. You're
Right?
just a little behind the times.
A little behind.
Let me just go ahead and save you the trip to your parents' house. Geothermal tanks are a thing, too. Also, HVAC
Man,
systems.
that was my next idea. Crap.
And
Back to the
running
drawing
water,
board.
Too. Sorry, buddy. I know you were really excited about
Anybody got a dry eraser? I need to get. I need some white
Wait,
space.
wait. What did you just say? Dry
erase
erase?
eraser.
Holy crap, that's $1 million. I think you should just go around claiming stuff and just see
I
what
invented
sticks.
that. Or like just pitch things to people that already exist,
Exists.
as if I had no clue. Yeah, that's a pretty good.
That's a fun-
What if there was a machine that could keep food cold for days?
For days.
Keep food fresh?
Isn't that a refrigerator?
that. A what?
Damn it.
That's not what I would call
Not again!
Again, you got me.
I'd call it a Chaz Waller.
And you just blame somebody that has a lot of money like Elon Musk or Bezos or something. He's beat me to the game again.
I'll blame Bixby. Damn you, Bixby!
Oh, yes, Bixby.
Yeah.
Oh, there she is.
She's like Beetlejuice. If you say her name too many times, she appears.
One
and
time
it
is
doesn't
on
get what you say right.
She's an upgraded Beetlejuice. Oh, my
It
God,
actually
mine's on
summoned-
too.
It actually summoned both of them into.
Oh, yeah, they're like, hello. Well,
All
mine's
right.
a man, so it's a couple.
Yeah. Based on the Thursday episode, I don't know if Bixby isn't upgraded anything.
Yeah.
true.
Though
kinda
I
like
do
a-
want to say that was my favorite segment we ever recorded.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah, Bixby, it brings it.
I think I'll tell you. I think it might have been more fun for us to do and listen to ourselves than maybe some other people.
Oh, they're like,
I think that might have been one of those things we really enjoyed, but I could be wrong. Maybe some people.
hopefully
liked
there's some people with the same frustrations.
Yeah.
And it's like, been there.
it. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. We're recording a podcast, so I really don't give a fuck what people think about us.
Well, there you have it. Mm-hmm. His bag of is empty.
All
Maybe
out
I
of
need to switch to tequila. No.
Fresh out. All right, Matt. What are you drinking?
It's beer 30 for me, baby.
Woo! Yeah.
Just kidding. It's water. I can't back up any of that.
Aw.
You could have lied to him. It is an audio format.
Theater of the mind, man.
Yeah.
There we go.
Having a little seltzer, cherry lime.
Cherry lime. Not cherry lime.
Is
No,
it not?
sir.
Oh, it's cranberry.
Cran.
lime.
You got to
Sorry.
cran all that berry into that lime,
you do.
baby. Woo!
This is
That just,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, that just sounds like it's calling out for vodka.
Oh, absolutely. We talked about this
We did,
a
yeah.
couple weeks
Every
ago.
time, yeah. I
It's
think-
like, I think these are made for bars, and we're just
Specifically for
drinking
mixing.
them.
Yeah. Yeah. It is that. But you might say it's Polar Brand. So obviously
Yeah.
this is a band. This is not your. I don't think this is your favorite, right?
No, this
But
is my favorite.
This is your favorite. Okay.
This is my go-to. If
Come
there's
in?
anything the wife can, basically get on the grocery list that I even remotely care about, it's this.
Polar. Okay. Cool. Well, I'm glad you've got your key drink. What was I going to call it? I meant to call it your something, your go-to.
My
I guess.
go-to. My
It's
sidearm.
It's your sidearm as we get ready to fire off some hot nerd news.
No,
that
not
does
before.
not sound good.
Oh,
God
goodness.
bless. I really should think about what I say before I say it.
Speaking of firing off something hot, now let's see what you got in that cup over there.
This is coffee.
So he
This
says.
is coffee.
I can't.
But
I cannot confirm, no deny, because
My-
I can't see in the cup.
my surprise beverage of the day is from Trader Joe's. It
Nice.
is organic, 100% carrot juice, And I found this, every time I think of carrot juice, it reminds me of the song Margaritaville. So when Landon started talking about drinking margaritas, I was like, we could have a Jimmy Buffett-themed episode. Drinking up carrot juice and soaking up Rays. So that's what I'm having
Nothing
today.
like bottle tops and flip-flops.
That's right. Step on a pop top. And so
somewhere.
Here,
it smells like carrot. It smells like it really just smells like fresh cut carrots.
Just drink some carrots. Chug-a-lug some carrots.
And it tastes like carrots. It's liquid carrot.
Well,
that I should probably have assumed such a thing. It is 100% carrot juice.
I'm pretty sure that was in the cooking aisle.
Oh, wait. Are you saying we're misusing another liquid?
Absolutely we are. I don't think we understand how drinks work. Except Landon. He understands what Diet Coke's for.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, there
as a chaser to his margaritas.
Yeah, there are very few things in this life that I understand, but beverages, that's one of them.
Well, that's why you're here. One of the many reasons.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm glad we finally landed on a reason why I'm here.
No. That's one of the many.
Clarify the use of all our
That's
beverages.
Right. Yeah, you need to. I guess we need to start submitting to him what we're going to drink. He's like, that's not something you should drink.
And really, the answer
please
is.
Let me know ahead of time.
Really, the answer always is you're supposed to add alcohol to that.
That really is my answer to everything.
You need to make that
going forward.
Well, you need to make that one of your go-to texts. You know how you've got your quick text you can send. It's like add alcohol.
and once you get it, you'll be like, "Geez, Landon didn't even read this text.
He didn't even read what I had."
Yeah.
I just sent him kerosene. He goes, add alcohol.
And at that point, it's like, guys, I think Landon really might have a problem. He doesn't read his texts.
All right. I think without further ado, it's time to hit the Twitter headlines. Once again, this week, we have gone out and found the hot nerd news topics of the week. We have liked them, we have retweeted them, we've quoted them. If you want to find them all in one place, all you have to do is follow @nerd_news_cafe and go check out the things that we are calling to your attention. Today, we're going to hit the headlines in quick succession, rapid-fire headlines. We're going to go through them, and then after that, we're going to have our reactionary period, or our time to come to terms with those headlines.
Come to terms.
Yeah,
Wow.
because maybe they're not all, happy.
He is using a lot of corporate lingo today. Come to terms, restructure.
Hey,
dude, like he's just dropping a synergy away from corporate bingo.
Goodness.
So if you're playing along at home, everybody pay attention.
If anyone wants to lean back to an old episode, he drank synergy.
yeah, I did.
He did not like it.
Should have added alcohol.
Yep.
See?
We didn't have Landon then. It was like we were really screwing things up.
We were really just kind of lost, just
right.
wayward ships in a fog.
We were in the ether.
Yeah, and then y'all invited me to kind of keep you guys on track. That's hilarious.
All right, let's hit it. So, number one, an article 2 days ago from Geek Tyrant by Joe Power. Joss Whedon's Justice League reshoots are confirmed to give the film a lighter tone. There's a quote in this article from Joe Morton, who plays Cyborg's dad in Justice League, Dr. Silas Stone. And
the most
says,
obscure character.
Yeah, well, and he says his character wasn't really impacted that much by the reshoots. Obviously, he doesn't have a big impact to it.
He was already a lot tone.
But he did say, I know that Ray, the guy who plays Cyborg, the young man who plays Cyborg, I should say, there were some adjustments that they made in terms of the tone of that character. Cyborg, as you know, has kind of a dark history where he comes from. Like, he's tragically injured, and his father actually uses alien technology to save his life, and that's what makes him Cyborg.
Spoiler.
Well, that people should know where Cyborg comes from. So, but Morton goes on to say that I think what I heard was that there was a need from the studio to lighten up the film in a way that the film felt too dark. I don't know what that meant in terms of how it actually got translated in terms of the reshoots, but that's what I heard. So, this was something we kind of talked about when they started talking about Justice League reshoots. We were concerned that it wasn't just hey, we missed a shot, we need to pick up shot here and there. There was maybe a little more to it, and this article basically confirms that for us. I'm hoping it's good news. We will find out.
I'm for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, like we said previously, is that really that big of a surprise, especially bringing in somebody like Joss Whedon, who I very famously said it's like I got tired of hearing him in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because he had such a distinctive sound to his dialogue, and now compare that to a movie written and directed by Zack Snyder that he's being brought in to reshoot. So
yeah. bit of a clash in characteristics, I would say.
Juice.
Yeah,
So
I think so. But still hopeful. Fingers crossed. It's for the best.
yeah, we'll see. Moving on, still in the movie world, this is an article from The Verge from August 12th, written by Andrew Liptak. Sony's Spider-Man spin-off Silver and Black will hit theaters in 2019, specifically February 8th, 2019. This is noteworthy because...
Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
That you can take your date on.
You could, just like you did
Hey.
to Deadpool.
I was going to say it worked really well for Deadpool.
Yeah. So this is interesting because Venom is scheduled to come out October 5th of 2018. So this really doesn't give a lot of time for that movie to breathe before we get Silver and Black.
It's probably best.
This movie is going to feature the Black Cat and Silver Sable. Now, another piece of information that's pretty interesting about both Venom and Silver and Black is that they're creating these movies in the Spider-Man universe, but because Marvel is making 2 more Homecoming movies, and we know it's been confirmed that Spider-Man Tom Holland will not be in these movies, they're actually creating a universe around Spider-Man that Spider-Man will not be in. Very,
can
very
work.
strange.
It can work.
Yeah.
We talked about this before, and just quickly, if Gotham, the TV show, had just mentioned Batman entirely around everything they're doing, Batman's in the background, it would have been a better show. I mean, I know there's people who like it. I do not.
Yeah.
I think it's boring.
Well, I guess the thing about this is these characters...
I think they can make it work.
These characters we're going to be focusing on in these next 2 Sony movies always interact with Spider-Man.
Correct. And they can still do it. You just don't see him.
I guess that's true if they could intimate it, but we'll see. We'll see how it works. What
They
it
can
really
call him on the phone.
what it really does suggest is that
We have cell phones. This is a world with cell phones.
that's true. What it really does suggest is Sony's trying to set up a cinematic universe around Spider-Man, but it's almost like you've got this
no
gap
Spider-Man.
in the
Yeah.
middle.
They still own the property. They could always bring it back. So.
Yeah, and I think they will. They've even said that they will, but
yeah.
it just
I'm fine with
won't
it.
be Tom Holland.
I'm fine with it, but it lets you explore these people without getting weighed down. So
Yep.
I understand. I'm being optimistic with my words right now.
All right. I think it's fair. We need some optimism in the world today.
Bro.
Here's a Geek Tyrant article 3 days ago. This is also by Joey Power. Details on Donald Glover's animated Deadpool series, which he was writing while shooting Han Solo. So Donald Glover's got a lot of balls in the air. The air right now.
Well, he is Gambino, so.
He's Gambino. You know, he works on the show Atlanta. He's a writer for that. And I've never watched Atlanta. Is he actually on the show, too?
Yeah, he stars.
Okay, so-
and I think he won awards for his on-screen portrayal as well. So
Nice.
he's really
I should
good
know
at it.
this. But also, he's been shooting the Han Solo movie, and all the while, he's been working on the Deadpool animated series. So, one thing is Donald Glover the hardest working man in Hollywood? I think we could say
Sounds
he
like
might
it.
be.
I think he did relinquish his music, though, didn't he? Didn't he stop?
He's kind of put a pause on that.
I think he said he's not going to be Childish Gambino for a while. So
Yeah,
I mean, it's not for lack of it. I think it's for lack of time.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it seems like Gambino is going to go on the back burner, but I'm sure we'll see a comeback of Gambino at some point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so this was a quote from John Landgraf, the FX CEO. He said, working with talent, you don't want to squelch their opportunities. You don't want to say, don't do Star Wars movie and play the first African-American character in cinema who inspired you when you were young. You want to figure it out, so we juggle people's schedules. So essentially, that's really cool that he's been willing to let Donald Glover take advantage of these opportunities. So good on him for that. And I'm impressed that he's been able to do it because apparently he's getting it done.
It sounds like the work ethic's there, so they're not really even worried about it. You know.
Yeah. It does say, the article goes on to say that that this particular series is not going to be what the movies are. It's going to be a different project, stand apart from the movies, and it's going to have a little different tone. I mean, as you probably expect, it's going to be an animated show. Right now, we don't have a release date for the show.
Do we have a voice for Deadpool?
No, I don't know that either. That's something I could probably ask Bixby, but f*** her.
Do not believe that's been announced, but off the top of your head, if we are going to cast the voice of Deadpool, who do you guys think?
I'm going to go Howie Mandel.
Really?
Peter North.
I'm going to go Charlie Day.
Charlie Day. All
Nice.
right. Yeah. I didn't have anything, and for some reason, the first voice actor that came to mind was
Howie
Bobby's.
Mandel.
Howie Mandel did a great job on Bobby's World.
I was gonna say, have you been watching a bunch of old school like Fox cartoons?
I picked a guy that has like numerous credits in video games, so I don't really. I guess I could get the guy that did the Deadpool in the video games.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who are we kidding? It's gonna end up being Nolan North. Nolan North.
God dang it! I said Peter North.
Yeah, Nolan North is actually voicing me right now. It's really impressive. It's so good.
You've outsourced yourself. That's nice.
Well, I got to make money somehow. So
sounds like you're spending it.
All right, so here's a bit of I'll say bad news, but really it's kind of like we don't really know where this is going yet. So we're just going to have to wait and see. This is from CNBC, an article from August 8th. By Michelle Castillo, announcing that Disney will pull its movies from Netflix and start its own streaming service. I don't know that is a huge shock. To me, it surprised me a bit because Disney only, maybe it seems like a year ago, signed like an exclusive agreement with Netflix so that they would get all their stuff. Like right now, Rogue One is on Netflix if you want to watch it. They have Moana on Netflix if you want to watch it. All kinds of Disney. And then, of course, not to mention all the Marvel stuff.
The latest Marvel movies are up there, too.
Yeah, the Marvel movies and the Marvel TV shows. The good news.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The good news right now is that, and who knows, I'm sure nothing is off the negotiating table, but right now the plan is to keep the Marvel TV shows on Netflix. They aren't planning on pulling those. And there was a tweet that I saw come out a couple days later that said Netflix is still negotiating to keep the Marvel movies and the Star Wars movies. So essentially, the properties that are not Disney films, so it's like Marvel Studios and then Lucasfilms, they're negotiating to keep those on Netflix and let Disney take everything else. So, I'm sure they'll land somewhere in the middle. Those are huge money-making properties. So Disney has to be thinking, if we're launching a streaming service and we're trying to get people to pay money, a monthly fee to get this premium service, and we don't have Star Wars and we don't have Marvel, who's going to do this just to get the Disney stuff? Some people would, but maybe families, like with families with kids, and we're not getting that adult population that I'm sure that they want. Because, hey guys, us nerds, we got a lot of money to spend on this kind of stuff. And so that's a huge market they'd be missing out on. So
I say the whole thing.
Okay.
They can get bent. You know what this is like? I'm going to say this quickly. Do you remember when we had the old clamshell movies you could buy, the old VHS?
Oh, yeah.
How much did they go, hey, Cinderella's out for this week
the
only.
vault?
Oh, now it goes back into the vault. That's exactly what they're doing, and I say, fuck them. Okay. They ain't getting a damn dollar from me.
They are definitely trying to capitalize on the fact that streaming is a huge thing right now. They know that there's a lot of money out there.
It is, but I'm not paying another $9.99 service. It's just not happening.
Yeah,
Not for that.
And I'm the same way. I guess what they're thinking is, we can get into it in a minute, but I'm kind of thinking that, if you look at a curve of cable cutters, cord cutters, that is going up, and as that goes up, that frees up people who are spending $200 on a cable service to pick up individual services for $10 a month.
It's what people have asked for, but at the same time, you're going to get right back to where you're on that cable bill with the 17 freaking services you're subscribed to.
I totally agree.
And on top of that, you know who's going to benefit from this? Redbox, because they're not stripping it from them.
No, you're right.
So
you're right.
Instead of paying $9.99, I'm just going to pay that $1 and I'm going to watch it.
Get the movie you want. Yeah. There you go. All right. Next on the list, let's move into video game territory for a moment. I just want to say, before I get into this article, that people must be listening, and they're listening to Landon. He's coming through loud and clear, because this is an article from IGN on August 11th. Friday the 13th, the game to remove team killing. Landon, can I get an amen?
Amen, hallelujah, and pass the green beans. This is great news to hear. And like you said, people are obviously listening to this podcast, and the people that do listen are decision makers.
Yeah.
Shout out to the decision makers.
Can you explain how that's happening? Like, how are you killing your own team?
Okay, well, in Friday the 13th, if you have a full lobby, it is 7 counselors trying to survive against 1 player as Jason. And you as the counselors are supposed to kind of work together, help each other out. Like, for example, your character might find a can of gas. So you head to the car hoping that somebody else found the keys or whatever else you need to get in the car. So what happens in team killing is some players will decide they have more fun in hunting down the other counselors and killing them than actually playing the game. And the reason team killing sucks as opposed to, Jason just coming and killing your team, Jason has abilities where he can kind of sense where you are. You can see where your teammates are at all times. So you can just straight beeline across the camp to these cabins that have 3 or 4 people in them. And if you want a team kill, you know exactly where they are.
How do you kill them, though? I mean,
weapons. Any weapons you have.
Oh, you can hit them with the weapons? Oh, that's lame.
And that's specifically what this update is going to take away.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
So you will not be able to kill people with the weapons that you find. What you'll be able to do instead is, apparently vehicles and traps will still kill you, but that's okay because you can avoid those things a little easier. And they actually want you to try to avoid traps because they said there should be a penalty for playing recklessly.
Don't be stupid.
Yeah. So and actually the game developers, I will say, they're kind of disappointed about this because they wanted there to be more strategic freedom for people, but of course you've got these. What is the internet full of?
Trolls.
So,
I was going to say, go to YouTube. I can promise you, it's a 10-to-1 ratio on troll videos to cooperation videos.
Yeah. And here's a quote right from Gun Media. They said, "Our team believes the ability to hurt other counselors is something this game should have, as it adds tension and requires players to make tough calls. However, we do not believe this should be a mechanic that is abused by players to the point where the vast majority of our current communications from fans are complaints of rampant, unwarranted team-killing, griefing trolling." And that sucks. But they're responding to it. So
do you think it'll be 2 different lobbies?
Well, I was going to say one of the things they could do is just make 2 different game options.
Yeah, just like friendly fire on or off.
Yep.
That's what you got.
I do want to point out in that article, it does mention that in the publisher notes that team killing will still be possible in private matches.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
So yeah, if you're into going literally last man standing, including Jason, you can still do that, but it's in a private setup match as opposed to just, all right, I'm going to do a quick play match, and here I am. I waited my 10 minutes to get into the lobby, and 3 minutes into the game, some ding-dong got a machete and hunted me down, and it's not Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is people like, well, I'm not Jason, I guess I'll pretend to be Jason. And it's like, no, there's no double agents in this game, okay? You're not allowed.
Well, and I've actually seen some counselors work with Jason just so they can, quote, be the last counselor standing. And it's like, what? I don't get it. And it's interesting that IGN put this article out because Kotaku, a few days before this article came out, they were interviewing some of these players who advertise on the subreddit, yeah, I team kill. And they asked them, why you do this? And it's like, at a certain point, in the game, you no longer can get XP and unlock stuff. So unless you just like playing the game, you have no reason to continue on. And that's one of the reasons all these trolls and griefers admitted to it. So it's like, I like the fact that Gun Media is taking this step and trying to outlaw it to the public, but at the same time, maybe give an incentive on the back end.
Yeah.
Like something past just XP.
Yeah, that sounds like a better solution than outlawing is like, oh, by the way, if you don't, there's games that if you don't do harm to other people, you get points or you get badges or, because, we need stinking badges.
Achievements are everything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We as a society love achievements. I mean, isn't that what the Fitbit things are? It's like you've taken 10,000 steps.
Gamify everything, and I'm all about it. I've famously said that on this show. You make something a game where I can get rewards and achievements, I'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
I'll do it all day long. Never mind. I'm not going to share it because it's $1 million idea, and I've given away too many today, and it probably already exists.
It already exists.
So
save it for your dad.
Yeah. Last article I wanted to hit on, and then we can get into our kind of freeform section of the show. Massive No Man's Sky update adds basic multiplayer. This is a Kotaku. Landon, you just said it. Kotaku.
There we go.
Kotaku.com article from Friday. And essentially what they say is No Man's Sky Atlas Rising update is adding this is on the 1-year anniversary, by the way, so it took a year after the game came out to get some of this stuff. Streamlined travel. You'll be able to go through kind of like portals from planet to planet. 30 hours of new story, new aliens, new ships, better graphics, and even some rudimentary multiplayer, which, by the way, they did tell us that we were going to have from the beginning, and we have never had. So
Destiny promise.
yeah, they're promising mission generator, UI improvements, crash freighters to explore, new mission system in space stations, a terrain editing tool, which I'm sure my son will be excited about because that makes it more Minecrafty, and portals to allow easier access between planets, a new HUD for dogfighting, and the ability to cruise above terrain in low-level flight, which is pretty cool too. So, as I said on the tweet, a year later, we've almost gotten the game that we thought we were getting from the beginning. So
everybody gave Bungie a pass. Might as well give these guys a pass too.
And that's, I mean, like maybe that isn't a bad thought process to have about this game, because this was, I mean, even after it's been launched into the wild for a year, it's still a very high concept, auspicious game, and this was a very small studio that put it out. So it's like maybe if everybody had the thought process of this is an early access or this is a console like greenlit game, they wouldn't have had so much vitriol. But yeah, it's taken them almost a year to get around to what was supposed to launch.
Yeah, and before we get overly excited about them introducing the multiplayer thing, I do want to pump the brakes just a little bit and explain that this is going to be, it's called Joint Exploration. And you'll be able to see up to 16 players who are near you, but they're represented as glowing orbs, not ships or pilots. You can't do much with them in-game, though you can communicate with them over voice chat, hence joint exploration. So I'm hoping this is just like a dip the toe in until they get to the point where they can actually have fully integrated multiplayer, and this isn't where it ends.
I bet they don't have the server room.
Well, I'm wondering if it's something to do with bandwidth or something like that.
It's a possibility, because again, this isn't a massive studio that put this game out, even though, I mean, Sony really got behind them and you know, carried the banner for them with the advertisement. But I mean, like, EA, it is not. Ubisoft, it is not. So I don't know. I do kind of like the idea that you guys keep bringing up. Maybe they don't have the server space. Maybe they don't have the means to do all this. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, this is nice, but a literal year after the game comes out, is this too little, too late?
That's the question. For some people, I'm sure it is. The good news is they're not charging you, an extra, like, to buy this expansion to get the game you thought you had originally, right?
Which is awesome.
So that's nice.
Yeah, really.
Hey,
we fixed it. $30.
Yeah. So that to me is nice, but at the same time, yeah, there are plenty of people who've already probably taken this game down to GameStop to get their credits.
This was the one that was given refunds for, what, right? There was a lot of places that gave refunds.
Yeah, that was one of those games when it first came out. I know Steam had a lot of reports of people who bought it, and on Steam you have a certain hour mark you can get a full refund for. And this was one of those games where there were a lot of stories of refunds being asked for. And it's like, again, it's like, this is all well and good, but I'm afraid that a good majority of the core base of this game that would really, really like what they're doing, I'm afraid they've already moved on to other stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think just a quick thought in my head, they should have reissued a thing and saying, you're not in the same universe. You're in a parallel universe. You can see the same things, but you can't talk to each other as of yet. And build it as a story thing is like, maybe when they do get that thing where the server opens, it's like, oh, a new technology has been discovered. Kick it up a little bit, make something of it instead of just being like, we fixed this, got cool stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe what you're saying is dress it up as something.
Yeah.
Something big and exciting as opposed to something
in game.
Yeah. Okay. Make an event out of it. I like that.
People like events just like they like achievements.
A little more fanfare.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're in for it, you get some kind of exclusive thing.
Yeah. Get a little ship part or emblem or
that right there. If you can say, yeah, come and play through these 3 days, you'll get a exclusive skin available only for the people that came back for the event. I mean, like, hello, Overwatch. Overwatch still has the 2017 Summer Games going on right now with exclusive skins that you can only get during this time of year. So people like me are definitely getting back into it. So that would be a really good hook to pull people back into No Man's Skies. Some exclusivity.
So as we transition out of the headlines and go into just our open forum kind of session here, Yeah, you're right about the Overwatch because I recently jumped back into it after not having played for months because of the Summer Games thing. I got to get those skins, man, those exclusive skins.
Yeah.
I want to play some Lucio Ball, you know.
I got back into GTA 5 just for some of their events and some of their content they've added. So
Yeah,
they're still doing a lot of stuff with GTA Online.
they every day something new, and that they add new things. I will say what sucks is I haven't played in so long is I'm not up to the status level I need to be at. Where everybody's got like millions of dollars, and I'm like 500,000 and running around. I'm like, I gotta grind, I guess. So.
Or buy those Megalodon shark cards that are always on sale, it seems like.
Negative.
Yeah, seriously, no thank you. But hey, good on Take-Two and Rockstar. They are printing money with GTA Online.
Exactly. Was it GTA 5 or GTA 6 was a rumor that got shot down. They're like, we're not doing that at all.
Like, I think it might be a long time before we get another standalone Grand Theft Auto number.
Why would they?
Yeah, right now
exactly.
They don't need to,
They're straight up printing money with GTA Online. All they got to do is just maintain the servers and give content every now and then.
Absolutely. So, guys, rapid reaction time. Anything that we covered today that you wanted to kind of expand a little bit on, or is there anything I failed to mention that you'd like to slap me across the face with?
You got anything? I got something, but I was going to see if...
Landon?
Well, I did want to briefly mention, going back to Friday the 13th, the game. Mm-hmm. We also got an announcement this week that they are going to release the physical disc copy of this game into stores this coming October on Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. I'm excited about that. It's going to launch for $40 in retail, so same as the digital. $40 will get you the entire game. I'm also curious what DLC or what skins are going to be associated with the physical copy.
They're going to have to give you something.
Exactly. And I'm also hoping, since the game is going to go live on Friday the 13th and the game is called Friday the 13th, I'm really hoping there's going to be some cool weekend event going on for the 13th, even if it's just double XP like they've done previously.
Double Jasons every time.
Holy
double
crap.
Jasons. That would make the games really fast.
That's a cool concept. All these trolls that like hit a certain, once you hit a certain level, you can become a Jason at any point. So then and you can't be the Jason that's in there, but it could be Jason versus Jason. It's just insanity. You could have whole rooms full of Jasons.
Or just a map of nothing but Jason.
Yeah, nothing but Jason.
Yeah, it's
all out Jason
winner
warfare.
takes all.
I would watch that.
That'd be kind of cool, actually.
I would get killed in it really fast, but I would so watch that.
It would be totally I think we need to contact somebody because that would be really fun to play.
At one point, if they want to help them, then they become Jason. They lose all the perks you got as a counselor. You have this option to be another Jason.
I like the idea of throwing it in randomly.
Or Jason's mom.
Like you think you're Jason. Jason's mom has
got it going on. She's got a machete. Oh, sorry. I thought we were expanding on that song. Sorry.
She's real sad her son died and mad at the counselors. So here's what I was thinking, though. Like, just in regular gameplay, you're sitting in the lobby waiting for another game to load. All of a sudden you pop in. All out Jason warfare. 8 Jasons.
Boom, 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 boom.
Everybody's
Jason.
That would be, and you would imagine how you would lose your freaking mind. Especially if it was something like only 20% of the time that happens or less.
And they got to throw fodder at you. You said the cops come in at some point, right?
You can call the cops, and that's one way that the counselors can escape.
Oh, even better.
Fodder.
Even better. You've got to have counselors and probably campers.
Yeah.
Let the campers be there.
They're just fodder. They're just little mindless AIs that, while you're out there destroying, you get little points for that. But if you kill another Jason, you get mad points.
That would be fun. I'm down for that.
It'd be interesting.
We as a podcast need to write this email to them.
Dear Gun Media, hello. How are you doing today? It is.
It has been a long time since we have spoken.
Long time listener, first time writer.
Long time killer, first time writer.
Oh man, yeah. I think I don't know. Maybe we ought to start our own development company. We have too many good ideas, and we just hand them out.
We need somebody who
we
codes.
Really do.
Do we know anyone who codes? That's what we need.
That's what we need. And game development.
I also wanted to mention, I think it was Matt who said we're just getting to the point where everything is streaming. AMC and FX announced this week that they are going to have a streaming service where you can watch all of their stuff ad-free, ... But you have to be a Comcast cable subscriber.
Get bent.
And it is a $5 or $7 fee in addition to your already big cable price. So
why,
like,
I was going to say, why Communist Cast is having their way with you, here's $5 more to pitch in the bucket.
Exactly. I mean, like, do you want to pay $5 so you don't have to watch commercials during The Walking Dead? Or do you want to pay $7 to FX so you don't have to watch commercials during Atlanta or Archer or whatever you're watching? But at the same time, you're still paying your monthly cable bill. So it's like you can't lump them in with the cord cutters, but at the same time, it's like AMC announced it this week, FX announced it this week, Disney announced it this week, and I don't know if Jay mentioned this, but in the Disney announcement stream, they did talk about how there's going to be an ESPN streaming option.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't mention that.
That one's worth it.
Like that for me. That's the only reason I still have cable.
It's exactly why anyone has cable is for sports, because that's where they handcuff you. It's like you can get any of this content at any point in time, but I can't go to the Red Box and get the sports I want to watch.
Live sports on Red
live
Box.
sports. You can get live sports anywhere but cable or some ridiculous subscription.
You could have a nice antenna and pick up some digital channels, and you're going to get some stuff.
Local.
Yeah.
But if you're not a local fan like moi,
you
don't get.
You don't want to watch the Titans every Sunday?
I do not.
Oh.
I'd rather watch Chicago lose.
Titans are going to be good this year.
I heard.
Even though they lost the first preseason game to the New York Jets.
Oh, wasn't it like 10-7? Yeah, it means nothing.
I have a theory.
But that still doesn't mean I didn't watch the first half of a really, really, really boring preseason game.
Hey,
it's like watching the NBA All-Star game.
I like what Trubisky showed, so I'm cool with the Bears right now. I don't know that he'll start, but I'm cool with it. And I know this is like everybody has rolled their eyes in the back of their head and turned this off, but
you're getting Mike Glennon, my friend.
It's fine. Mm-hmm. It's okay. It's a good mentor, and then he can pass on. So
pass on.
Pass on. He's gonna die. Is that
Mike Glennon?
His career is. Die. His career is.
We'll send Bixby to kill him.
Oh God.
Bixby, kill Mike Glennon. Kill Mike Glennon.
No, he's cool.
Be the one thing that she recognizes and gets right.
Yeah, exactly. Did you want to kill Mike Glennon? Here's 10 points for coming up with that option.
It will be done, Master. Oh, wait.
No.
Oh, my God. That's what this thing needs. If it had more of a Harry Potter vibe with like Darby or maybe like some kind of subservient thing.
Yeah, not to get all nerd on you, but I'm going to push up my glasses here and say Dobby.
Dobby, sorry. I don't know why I want to call him Darby. It doesn't matter.
Dobby. It sounds Jamaican.
Dobby's a Frio.
Are you thinking Darby's?
I am thinking Darby's. That is hilarious. I want that restaurant. It's exactly like Arby's, except with an elf content. Here's your sandwich. I would love it.
Go for a sandwich.
Oh, before I got sidetracked, my theory is if you win preseason, you lose regular season.
Yeah, that tends to happen.
That happens all the time.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Teams that go undefeated in the preseason and they make a big deal.
Way to win that championship.
There's no trophy for preseason championship.
There's only injuries.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, Matt. What about you? What do you want to throw in there?
The thing I saw it's constant every time I look on the news of any kind is the whole thing about Facebook and their AI that went awry. Mm-hmm. Oh no, the overlords. So I looked into it and I was like, okay, what actually happened? And the first thing I found is Snopes said total BS.
Yeah, of course.
So I look it up, and basically they did develop their own language, but they always develop their own language. AI always does it because English is a crappy language.
It's not efficient for AI.
Well, verbal language is crappy anyway. And one of the examples they gave is like if they wanted something multiple times, it'll say, I need this to me, to me, to me, to me, to me. And it knows, it sounds repetitive to us, and we're like, okay, someone's stroking out on this thing. No, it's saying this is how many times I want what I'm asking for. So it starts cutting down shorthand for itself.
Right.
And the guy that they talked to the actual research place, which is FAIR, I guess, and they didn't really give a guy who exactly they were talking to, but they did say they talked to the research team, and they was like, no, this always happens. And he goes, and we didn't shut it down. The project completed. What they're building is a robot to negotiate, or an AI, sorry, I shouldn't say robot, an AI to negotiate with people. And it has to have reasoning, and it has to have this. And usually what they give it, and this is hilarious because it sounds like some kind of rat experiment, they give it a reward for staying in English.
Okay.
It goes, but they didn't for this. They were like...
How do you reward a robot?
You just give it like incentives to stay in a language that can be understood by others.
You give it robot treats. Robot treats.
I don't know. I don't know how... you get to stay on another week? I don't know what you tell it.
Futurama has already proven this. You give them alcohol, dummy.
Oh, this is true. Yeah, Bender has got it down.
Yeah, once again, my answer to everything is the correct
Add
answer.
alcohol. Yeah, you don't even listen.
Exactly.
Just add alcohol.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, I mean, they said that it always happens. They always change. You know, if you don't give them an incentive or you don't give them a parameter, I guess is a better word, to stay in English language, they'll develop their own. Of course they're going to develop their own. It's faster for them. So, but that's what they're working on, and they I've never seen Snopes do this. Maybe they're changing their content of how they present their website, but they have like actual examples of like the things that like this is. They kind of called people out and said, "Yeah, the internet kind of lost their minds a little bit," so they started throwing people under the bus on Snopes.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious
No
to me. And then they go back and go through the article and quote, you know, and they actually talk to somebody. So. Yeah, it's not going to happen, guys. They're not going to kill us. And even the guy...
You keep telling us that. I think you might be a robot.
I might be. Which would be interesting because then it would fall into Westworld. And that one... Well, no spoilers. So...
And I, for one, welcome our new robot overlord.
Well, this is what this guy said. He works in AI day in, day out. This is what this guy does. He goes, but this... I quote, and God knows who I'm quoting from. We'll say William Wisher because that's who they said they talked to. We'll say it's this guy. But what everyone fails to appreciate in these fever dreams is that human beings are the most adaptable, clever, and aggressive predators in the known universe. That really helps me sleep at night because I don't believe AI will ever fully develop as a separate thing from people. I don't think we'd allow it to. We are in infant stages now, but I think we will subsume AI and make it a part of ourselves, better to control it, implanting neural nets within our brains that are connected to it, etc. Now, that raises all kinds of unseen have and have not issues, but that's another subject for another time.
Wow. Okay, while you were reading that, I just got this terrible feeling of fear. Because what that sounded like was a speech by like some ignorant person in a sci-fi movie before the robots kill everybody.
Before the robots kill everybody.
Listen, guys, it's fine. We have control. We're the humans.
I think we found the nightmare
we're
scenario.
at the top of the food chain. Nobody can take us. Oh, sorry.
We are the ultimate predator.
We're the best in the world. We're the best in the universe. Nothing can take us down. I don't care about robots. They can keep cooking my TV dinners in the microwave.
We don't have anything yet, and that's what he said.
Yeah,
I wanted to point out, like what you said. It's like, us as humans, we can see stuff coming down the pike and stop anything bad that's going to happen. I would like to take.
That's not what he said. He said we're adaptable and we're predators.
Okay, we will adapt to our new slavery lifestyle.
We've adapted all our life.
Yeah. Look at our way of life. Are we adapting to it now?
Sure, we are. We're being we're eliminating people that we don't even care about, whether that's good or not.
Good boy.
Yeah.
This is how Skynet starts.
Yes.
It's not how Skynet starts.
This is how Skynet starts. And Matt,
No.
You're a robot sympathizer.
No, he's not a sympathizer. He's a robot he's here to smooth it all over. He's like paving the way for us to be like, oh, this is all going to be fine.
It's fine.
And you're gonna rule over all the robots someday.
Hey, look,
that's been the promise for you.
Sometimes you got to make deals that end in a better way for yourself. And if you guys don't choose to accept those deals, I'm not responsible for whatever gulag you get put into. I'll come visit you.
Just make mine your mercy will be a quick death.
A quick death. I can do that. Probably. I need to make some calls to
Stewie.
Bixby.
That's Stewie on Family Guy. Yeah, you're in with Bixby. You are in bed with Bixby.
My Bixby's a man. That would explain a lot. He's a little rough.
Oh man. All right. We're running a little short on time today, but here in the last 5-10 minutes of the show, I want to do one thing. I did put out a call on Wednesday, and I asked for our followers and listeners to throw out some things that they wanted to hear about, a chance to control our content just a little bit. We got a response from our good friend Andrew Casino number 1. Not number 1. He is number one, and he's number one in our hearts and in the playbook.
And he has the loosest slots in all of Vegas.
Yeah, he does. That's what I heard. Well, as I asked him to tell us, what do you want to dig into on the next show? You've got control. The first thing he wanted was for us to allow him not to work on Wednesdays, but we can't do that for him.
Done. We have that ability. But just play this podcast for your boss, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, this is like your doctor's note. No, but he said, what are some fun tabletop games and co-op games? So I thought we could hit this real quick on the way out the door. We never really did follow up on our epic tabletop adventure that we had here.
We had a Bungie promise.
We did. And I thought that it might be a good idea to revisit that just really quickly and just to kind of set the table. We played several games. We played Munchkin, we played King of the Monsters, and we played...
King of Tokyo.
Oh, sorry. King of Tokyo. And we played Betrayal at House on the Hill. And those were just the ones that we played that night. But, man, I got to tell you, just if I wanted to start off, Betrayal on House on the Hill has so much potential.
So much fun. It's so much fun.
That is such a fun game.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, even the way the game is built, you flip tiles if you've never played it, and you put tiles either in the basement, the main floor, or upstairs. So any game you play is going to be different from the previous game you played. I mean, we probably played 2-3 scenarios, and very rarely did we have any overlap from any of the previous games. It was a
none of the layouts were the same. None of the layouts were the same.
Exactly, yeah.
And I will say, every single time that we roll to see if there's going to be a haunt, man,
people were losing. I was losing my mind. I was like, oh no!
Every time.
The tension at the table. Everybody's like, oh, I don't want to be the one that triggers it.
And the thing is there's a chart, so you don't even know who's going to be the perpetrator. Yeah. Like, it's not like, oh, this person failed a roll, now they're this. No, this person failed a roll. Then there's circumstances that go into like this little diagram or chart they had, and then it tells you who that person is. And it's like, oh no, it's me.
And then I love at that point how it pivots from a strictly co-op game to then it is whoever the betrayer is versus the remaining other players. I love the hard pivot from co-op to competitive gameplay.
Yeah. It went from kind of a hunt and gather situation to a chess match where it's like, if you're the perpetrator, you have got to think about how you want to kill all these people.
And I will say that once the haunt happens and you've got to kind of split up and read your scenarios and get on the team has to get on the same page, and then whoever's the haunter, the monster, has to kind of make their game plan. There's a lot. I mean, it's complicated, and there are a lot of different things that can happen. So it takes a little time to kind of get used to it and get your bearings. And yeah, and then I know afterwards, and every time we were like, man, if we'd done this a little differently, if we'd done
what
this,
ifs.
So
there was always a post game trying to figure out, well, if we zigged when we zagged, maybe we all wouldn't have died.
Yeah. So anyway, it is a lot of fun. So I highly recommend.
The monster was fun.
You can pick that game up at Target now, and I think the first time that I saw it at a game store. It was $100. It's $50, I think, at Target.
Yeah, it's well worth the money. It's well worth the money.
Yeah. And it has drastically come down in price. Like Jay mentioned, there already is an expansion to that. Yeah. It builds on, I think, the upper level even more. And I think this is kind of cool if you're a D&D fan. There is going to be a spinoff from the Baldur's Gate storyline, and it's Betrayal at Baldur's Gate, and that drops in October of this year.
God, that's exciting.
I like that lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, comes with 18 new monsters to fight, 12 D&D themed adventures, and it includes 6 plastic miniatures as well. So. Nice.
All right. I want to talk about King of Tokyo for a minute. We ended up playing that game. Do we have 5 people playing at once?
I didn't get to play it.
I think there were 5 of us. Yeah, there were.
There was. That game holds up to 5, and we had 5 playing. So.
Yeah, and that was really fun. It's a simple game, easy to pick up. To contrast it to the Betrayal game, there are rules. You have to kind of get used to a simplified set of rules. It's just not nearly as complicated, but there are some specific things that you got to get used to. But overall, real fun. Games go pretty quick, and so
they do move.
Yeah. So that one was a good one. That would be a good game. If you've got a couple of friends over and you guys want to play something that's not going to take all night like Monopoly, pull out King of Tokyo and you can have a good time.
And hate each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to continue being friends after the game, don't play Monopoly.
Right. There's a lot of strategy involved for such a simple game too. So it's pretty cool. And kaijus. So
kaijus, yeah,
exactly, absolutely. Yeah. And if you're a kaiju dork, it's fun to play with the monsters that they're obviously trying to mimic, but for copyright reasons, they can't call it Godzilla or King Kong.
Just so different enough.
Gigazord. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
But talking about Munchkin, so this one kind of ties into the D&D angle that you pulled on Betrayal as well, because I feel like Munchkin is a game that if you have a D&D background and you understand like how that game works a little bit, Munchkin's a game that you can, even if you have no D&D background, you can play it and have fun. But if you do, it's nice the correlation that you can make between the two. It's very simple. You know, you every game can be different. Every game is simple enough that my son, even a couple years ago when we got the game, he was able to play it, and it's interesting enough and kind of silly enough that it keeps the interest of adults too. We haven't gotten any. We got like the weapons expansion or something. We got one expansion to our set. And Landon, when you brought the game over, you actually had like the board game, which we didn't have. We just played it with the cards, and that was nice too because it's easier to keep track of like everybody's level and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So that makes it pretty cool.
Yeah, and another cool thing with Munchkin is it seems like if you're a fan of a licensed property, there's a pretty good bet there's a Munchkin version of that game out there. Like if you're a Rick and Morty fan, there is a Rick and Morty Munchkin game coming later this year. So get excited for that.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Mm-hmm. It is fun, and like you said, it's like it once you figure out the rules, it is such a simple game to pick up, and it is so much fun.
Yeah. And those games don't last forever either.
No, they really don't. It's funny that we started out talking about Betrayal at the House on the Betrayal at the House on the Haunted Hill, and that's a game where it's like, yeah, you have to like set aside a pretty significant amount of time to get through it and play it. Where these last two games, like, yeah, you could probably blow through them in like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, I would say
longer than that, but like compared to the Betrayal at the House on the Haunted Hill. Like way short.
Betrayal could take an hour or more, and these probably are under an hour. So I'd say that's kind of the over-under. Betrayal would be over, and these would be under. That's what I would say.
Sure.
Any other games you guys wanted to just mention before? Those were the ones we played specifically on our game night.
Yeah.
But I enjoy. There's a real simple game that I like to play. Zombie Dice.
Oh yeah.
And that's a fun game. You've
fun game.
You've just got like a set of dice and a cup. You roll dice trying to get brains, and the first person to 10 wins. And it's a game you got to take some risk, play some strategy. So it's fun. And it's another one that doesn't take long, easy to set up, easy to learn.
I'm trying to think of the one we played on the cruise. It was something pigs. Toss the pigs or something.
Toss the pigs.
Yeah, you have these little pigs and you throw them. And how they land is, according to what you get in points and stuff like that. So It was kind of a little entertaining, simple game. I'm trying to think of simple games at this point.
Cards Against Humanity?
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Of course.
Cards Against Humanity is always fun.
Oh, or I guess Apples to Apples.
Apples to Apples is really fun, too. And then
if you want to play the Safe for Work version.
Not always.
They have a dirty version of Apples to Apples, which I thought was pretty funny.
I
was like, well, but this is like branded. It's the Apples to Apples brand, but it's called something else. And I was like,
Sour Apples?
It might be Sour Apples, but I was like, dude, this already exists. If somebody wants this, they would just get Cards Against Humanity.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is there a difference in price point though? I wonder.
I don't know. I just think they're trying to tap into that adult market.
Why not? Why wouldn't you? It's a big market. If you're going D&D, I've played 3.5 and 5. And I've seen people play Pathfinder. 3.5 has the biggest learning curve. I've been playing for 2 years, and I still don't have 3.5 down. 5, though, super simple.
Easier,
if you're going to jump in, 5's the way to go.
Yep.
Streamlined.
Pathfinder's pretty easy, but it's more of a 3.5 feel. A fun game, but I will say the learning curve on it is pretty high, but there is a program you can download for your computer, and it'll build the character for you, and it has some easy steps to tell you what you're getting, what you're doing, and who you are, is the Star Wars RPG. And they've got different expansions and this, that, and the other, but it's really fun. If you like the Star Wars universe, and I mean, I like Star Wars. It's not my go-to.
Your hashtag jams?
It's not my hashtag jams. But I will say the RPG is probably one of the funnest role-playing games I've played because of all the character. You're not withheld as far as a character to anything, and you kind of know the universe, but there's parts of it you don't know. With Rogue One, we got a little bit more of that universe, but I like it. It's cool, and the program really helps when you're, trying to pick weapons and armor and stuff like that. So we were bounty hunters, I think, one time, and then the other time we were like just some useless characters on the run. So both times was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah, and like you said, you're not as big into Star Wars as per se me,
right?
But you know the Star Wars world, the universe a little bit, the galaxy, if you will.
Yeah.
And it was interesting enough to you to kind of dig into some of that expanded galaxy.
Oh yeah,
and get to know
really fun.
that kind of stuff.
When it bases down, it's a sci-fi game.
Yeah.
I mean, and that there's Jedis out there. There's Sith out there. But that's all in the game master and what he puts in there.
Yeah.
I didn't get to be a Force user. I haven't seen how that works. I'm actually partnering up with my buddy Thomas to GM a game because he knows more of the lore than I do, and I'm going to try to pick up the mechanics. But we're going to try to run one and see what happens.
Cool.
So it's fun though. I do recommend it. If you can find somebody that can GM it, it is fun.
All right, cool. Landon, any recommendations from your side?
Now can't really give anything past what Matt said. I'm slowly getting back into D&D, so that's something that I'm going to know more about what's new. Though I do want to point out this is something that's already on my Amazon wish list. It's coming out in October, and it is a D&D module / book that has a dinosaurs and zombies in the same thing. So zombie dinosaurs is coming to D&D, so that could be fun. I'm actually pulling up the name of the book. It comes out September 19th, and it is Tomb of Annihilation. So that should be fun.
It looks good. It looks like it's got some really good expansion on characters and as far as like what else did I see in there? Weapons and some other fun things. But I've noticed 5 is very module like base.
I've noticed that too, but at the same time, it's like I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing because you talked about how 3.5 is a fun experience, but even 2 years into it, you still don't have a full grasp of it. Where on the flip side, 5th edition is really feels like they just streamlined it, made the experience as easy and user friendly as possible. So
they have, but I will say I've heard a lot of complaints from the older D&D players are like, this is too simple.
I have heard that too. Yeah, I've heard some people say they turned it too much into like a World of Warcraft experience.
They did. Well, 4 is a full MMO. If you guys want that kind of like battle, less story, play 4. Because, I mean, 4.0, I guess is what it's called, is all just fighting. That's all it's about. Everybody can heal themselves. Everybody can do magic. I mean, it's like an MMO. It's based off of Warcraft. 5 is kind of taking some elements from that. But what my group and what I've heard overall is like, they seem like 5 is like, here's the bones, homebrew the crap out of it. Because that's what it is. I mean, they give you different things and templates, but they basically say do what you want.
Yep.
So.
I like customization.
I do too. Most of my campaign I'm running now is a lot of homebrew. So.
Well, and I mean, like, it seems like, and I'll go back and say what I said a little bit ago. I'm just now getting back into D&D and paying attention to that. But it seems like, especially online with the way technology is and the way Wizards of the Coast has embraced it, this is the best time to be playing stuff like D&D online because you can find pretty much whatever you want.
Oh, yeah. Groups, whatever time, however big, and the concepts you like. Roll20 is a big proprietor of that. And then, what's the other one that... the Obsidian Portal's got some good games you can jump into, but Roll20 is actually partnered up with Wizards of the Coast. So,
I did not know that.
They've actually got a comprehendum coming out, and this whole big thing. I think it's called Beyond D&D, and basically it's going to be subscription based, but you'll be able to have access to all the books, all their content, and be able to pull it up. Basically a virtual library of Wizards of the Coast.
Wow. That's
and character creation and everything. So,
I mean, granted, like you said, a subscription will be required, but in this day and age, it seems like a subscription is required for everything. But I mean, like, if you're the hardcore player, that sounds like a really, really nice tool to have.
Well, if you're a game master, I mean, it's good to keep up with characters. There's all kinds of stuff to help game masters in there too. As far as like, initiatives, being able to bring monsters, maps. I mean, tons of maps is what they say is coming. Right now, you can just get on there and look at different stuff like monsters or look up different rules. But I mean, it's a very comprehensive looking thing.
Sounds good. So thanks, Andrew, for that topic suggestion. I hope that this gave you a few ideas of some things that you could pick up and play at home. And, we definitely really appreciate the interaction from you and encourage others to be like Andrew. I think I've said this in the past. Be like Andrew.
Yep, be like Andrew.
Yeah.
And if you didn't like that last segment, it wasn't our fault. It was Andrew's. So.
And you could change that by suggesting topics of your own. So how do you do that? You can do that on our Twitter account, @nerd_news_cafe. Interact with us on Facebook. We have a fan page, Nerd News Cafe. NerdNewsCafe.com is the website, and nerdnewscafe@gmail.com is the email. You can find us on the web, in the sky, anywhere you want to. Just ask the Googs. Don't ask Bixby. F*** Bixby.
Or Bixby.
Yeah. But I just want to thank you all for listening again. This has been a fun one. And again, I want you to let me know how you like kind of the new structure. I think I thought this flowed really well. And so that's my opinion, though. And you know what? It's up to the listener.
That's right.
So sound off. Let us hear from you. And I do want to say, come back Thursday. We're going to have some comics. We're going to have some hot and streamy. We're going to have maybe a roast.
Oh, yeah.
All right. We got a roast. So come back for that. And until then,
in transmission.